Good afternoon. I'm forewarned meteorologist Kim Adams. Our risk of severe weather increasing for tomorrow afternoon. I'll time out the storms hour by hour.
There's breaking news in the mysterious disappearance and homecoming of this woman in Alabama. Police releasing new information this afternoon about some of her internet searches before she vanished. First, here's Paula.
Hi, everybody. We are dissecting the charges of 16 Michiganders who could spend as much as 80 years in prison if convicted of election fraud. These stories and more are happening right now on Local 4 First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, criminal charges linked to the 2020 presidential election are sending shockwaves through Michigan's political landscape. Attorney General Dana Nessel made her case against 16 fake electors, public just 24 hours ago. Now, those suspects come from all levels of the state's Republican Party. Our Paula Tutman has been looking into the charges and what they mean. Paula.
Yeah, hi. There's a lot to dissect here, but obviously these 16 Michiganders who are charged with these felonies, they are being charged as so-called fake electors who tried to steal votes, according to the Attorney General, to keep Donald Trump in office.
That the defendants knowingly made, filed, or published a false document for a purpose under Michigan election law and acted with the intent to defraud.
Charges include conspiracy to commit forgery, uttering and publishing, conspiracy to commit election law forgery, and election law forgery. If convicted, the defendants could face as many as 80 years in jail. Constitutional expert and associate professor at Oakland University, Professor Diane Hartmus explains.
Conspiracy to commit election law forgery means they were working together. Forgery, uttering and publishing, which means writing bad checks and passing them off.
The Attorney General alleges that the 16 met in the basement of the Michigan Republican headquarters on December 14th, 2020, and signed their names to certificates declaring that Donald Trump won Michigan, when in fact it was Joe Biden who actually won the state with 2,804,040 votes, or 50.6% of the vote, to Donald Trump's 2,649,852 votes, which was 47.8% of the vote.
Once the popular vote is in the State Board of Canvassers certifies who has won the popular vote. That determines who are the official electors for the state. For this slate of allegedly fake electors to vote as if the state board had certified Donald Trump as the winner is an egregious act.
What concerns Professor Hartmus the most is who is being charged. Gatekeepers of democracy, people in leadership and elected positions to protect the sanctity of the vote. People like Shelby Township Clerk Stan Grott.
The role of the clerk includes elections.
I spoke to the assistant clerk and left a message for Mr. Grott to contact me for comment. He is not. Also charged with what amounts to election fraud, Kathy Burden, one of the Republican National Committee members representing Michigan, and Michon Maddock, the former co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party. Neither returned voicemail or text messages for comment.
They were, in fact, trying to steal the election.
Yeah, you know what, Karen, when you talked earlier about different levels of the Republican Party, we're also talking about Kent Vanderwood of Wyoming, Michigan. That's a town of nearly 77,000 people, also elected school board members, all different levels of people. Now, a lot of these folks have been saying that they did not know what they were signing, that they weren't sure, that they didn't realize what was going on. Coming up at 6, here's what we're working on for you. Exclusive interview with one of those people charged as a fake elector. She says she was duped. She names names. Her story is coming up at 6.
Wow. All right. We're looking forward to that at 6. Thank you, Paula. Let's shift to the first forecast. The forewarned weather team counting us down to some more storms, but not until tomorrow. Kim Adams standing by with the very latest. So I guess we should enjoy the calm before the storm, right?
We certainly should, because 24 hours from now, it will be a different story here in Metro Detroit as the risk of severe weather is increasing with new forecast data. But right now in Mount Clemens, just a couple clouds out there, but also some sunshine. It's warmer than it was yesterday, as we expected. We're in the low 80s, 82 in Detroit, 81 in Howell and Port Huron. Also in Monroe, winds have shifted now coming out of the southwest in Port Huron, southeast down in Monroe. Let's talk about our threat for severe weather tomorrow, because we've been bumped up. Originally, yesterday, part of Metro Detroit was under a slight risk, the rest under a marginal risk. Now, that slight risk, which is the level 2, a little more serious on the scale, it's a level 2 out of 5. Now that is all of southeast lower Michigan. The risk for storms tomorrow include hail, high winds, and also an isolated risk of tornadoes. So I'll break it down hour by hour and tell you what you can expect for your evening commute tomorrow in just a couple of minutes.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Kim. The man who survived a dramatic fall from the Ambassador Bridge is sharing his memories of those horrible moments and why he's so grateful. You may have seen the video of iron worker Spencer Baker falling 150 feet from the bridge into the Detroit River. He says he was doing routine work on the bridge when a freak accident pushed him over the guardrail. Family in a nearby park ran to get help from a boat that raced to the rescue. We now have access to an interview where he talked about what he's been through.
And I remember laying in the water and hearing people yelling, "We're coming, we're coming." And then I just kind of remember being picked up onto the boat and then put on a stretcher into the ambulance. And if those people weren't there, I probably would never get to see my 4-month-old daughter again, or my beautiful fiance. And just the thought of that kills me. I'm just so thankful and fortunate for those people that were there that helped me, because it really saved my life.
Baker is still recovering this afternoon, showed some of the bumps and bruises he received during that fall. You'll hear more of his story on Local 4 News at 5. That breaking news comes from Alabama in the mysterious case of a woman who vanished for 48 hours after calling 911 and then came home to face questions about where she'd been and what happened while she was gone. Police just offered an update. Kimberly Gill joins us now in the studio, and it looks like police actually have more questions about her story.
They do, and good afternoon to you, Karen. This investigation has captured national attention, and new questions just emerged. 25-year-old Carly Russell called family members last Thursday, said she was pulling over to help a toddler alone on a highway, but then vanished. Police have been outlining some discrepancies in her story. So first, police said there was no evidence of a toddler abandoned in the area, and no other drivers on that busy interstate reported seeing a child. The Hoover Police Department also said Russell bought snacks at a local Target before she vanished, but those snacks were not found in her car. Today, police say Russell told them she was kidnapped by a man and a woman who kept her in an 18-wheeler semi-truck and another car during the time she was missing. Police continued to try to verify her story, including looking into her internet searches.
On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term "you have to pay for an Amber Alert" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term "how to take money from a register without being caught" was searched. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted.
Now, police say they've asked Carly to do another interview, but so far she has not agreed. They stress that the investigation is still very active.
So they did play part of that 911 call. How did she sound, her voice?
They said she sounded calm, indeed, very, very calm, in fact. She offered police her name, and it sounded like just a routine 911 call. But again, police say this was the only 911 call to make that claim on a very busy highway. So much more to come on this story, and as we said, the investigation is still ongoing. So
mysterious, right? All right, thank you, Kim. Sure. So far, North Korea is staying silent about the detention of an American soldier who sprinted across the heavily guarded border yesterday. 23-year-old Private Second Class Travis King was supposed to fly back to the United States. Military police escorted him to an airport checkpoint in South Korea, but he joined a tourist group and then ran into North Korea. King's mother told ABC News she couldn't see her son doing anything like that. But the Associated Press says he had legal troubles in South Korea. Right now, analysts say it is unlikely North Korea will hand him over anytime soon. President of Israel is in the United States to celebrate the partnership between the two countries, but his trip to Capitol Hill actually underscores lingering tensions. President Isaac Herzog is Israel's ceremonial head of state. He's not even part of Prime Minister Netanyahu's government. That government is facing blowback over judicial reforms. Critics say will threaten democracy itself. Today, Israel's president painted a different picture for U.S. lawmakers when describing his country.
A country which takes pride in its vibrant democracy, its protection of minorities, human rights and civil liberties as laid down by its parliament, the Knesset, and safeguarded by its strong Supreme Court and independent judiciary.
Israel's president spent time with all the major leaders in Washington, from President Biden yesterday to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.